Think about the last time you were stuck in a genuinely, soul-crushingly boring meeting.
Oh, we've all been there.
Right. The fluorescent lights are humming.
Hmm.
Someone is just droning on about quarterly deliverables.
And you catch yourself glancing at the clock on the wall.
Exactly. You could swear you've been trapped in that room for at least 3 hours, but the second hand indicates exactly 4 minutes have passed.
That's the absolute worst feeling.
It really is. But then contrast that with a totally different scenario. You are out to dinner, just laughing endlessly with a good friend.
Yeah, time just flies.
You sit down at 7, you blink, you tell maybe 2 stories, and suddenly the waiter is stacking chairs on the tables because it's midnight.
Right, the exact same unit of objective measurement has passed.
Minutes and hours, yeah. But your internal experience of those units is completely, radically different.
It's entirely subjective.
So today, our deep dive takes us into an excerpt from a captivating story that really explores the architecture behind that phenomenon.
We are looking at Chapter 2, which is titled The Poet and the Subjective Timekeeper.
Our mission today is to explore the protagonist's narrative journey, unpack her fascinating conversation with this mysterious timekeeper, and really examine the thought-provoking concepts of subjective time hidden within the fiction.
It's a brilliant piece of writing. The author uses this narrative to force us into a corner with some very heavy questions about reality itself.
Yeah, it challenges you to decide whether time is something that happens to us or something we actively generate.
Exactly. And we start by meeting River.
Right, so River is this protagonist who usually possesses this incredible, innate ability to just slip through moments in time.
She can literally dive into other people's memories using her consciousness.
And it's always been effortless for her. But as this chapter opens, she is completely blocked. She said it feels like she is, quote, chasing smoke.
Which is a terrifying feeling when it's something you're used to doing so easily.
Totally. It's like that bizarre cognitive hiccup where you suddenly forget a highly practiced muscle memory.
Oh, like forgetting how to ride a bike.
Yeah, or like typing your own password. You've typed it 1,000 times, but the second you start overthinking where your fingers are supposed to go, you lock yourself out.
That is a perfect analogy. She is over-intellectualizing an intuitive process.
And we find out pretty quickly why she's doing that. She's got this massive, looming cell biology exam.
Yeah, right. She is stressed out.
She is sitting in the shared living space with her friends, Henry and Max, just trying to cram these objective, measurable facts into her brain.
And cell biology is the ultimate representation of rigid structure, right?
Exactly. It demands rote memorization of physical realities.
Yeah.
But her mind keeps wandering to this mysterious heavy book she got.
From the Midnight Café.
Yeah, it's got this gold lettering on the cover filled with unknown equations and symbols she doesn't understand.
So she's trapped between two paradigms, basically.
Right, the measurable science of biology and the unmeasurable mystery of this book. So exhausted, she finally falls asleep and drops into this incredibly vivid dream.
The dream sequence is amazing.
It is. She finds herself in a dark room filled with these shimmering colored webs. Some strands are glowing softly, others are pulsing like a heartbeat.
And there's one specific thread, right?
Yeah, a vivid turquoise thread. The second she touches it, the entire web vanishes. She gets hit with this overpowering wave of vanilla scent and steps through a golden doorway straight into the mind of her friend, Max.
What's fascinating here is how the author uses Max's chaotic mind as a brilliant contrast.
Oh, with his pure chaos in there. It's exactly what you'd expect a teenager mid-meltdown to look like.
Blasting rock music, empty soda cans everywhere.
Yeah, he's sprawled on a couch playing Fortnite, totally panicking over a poetry essay prompt.
Which is such a great detail. River literally goes into his mind to escape her own intense academic stress.
Right.
Only to find Max stressing about an exam on the exact topic she's about to discover in her waking life.
Poets and culture.
Exactly. The narrative is signaling that the solution to her blockage isn't in rigid facts.
Max actually begs her to help him cheat on the essay. But she just smacks him on the head with a book, shoves it into his hands, and jolts awake.
A very good friend move.
Truly. So she wakes up, rushes to her cell biology exam, and it is brutal. She barely survives it.
But the exhaustion from that exam serves a purpose.
It does. She's walking home in this sharp winter wind, and she stops in a snowy alleyway. It's the exact spot her abilities first manifested. And she starts asking herself these massive questions.
Like what time actually is.
Right. Is it fixed? Does it exist just because we believe it does? She finally goes home, settles into her armchair, and opens that mysterious gold book.
And she finds the chapter titled The Poet.
Yes, The text says that a poet moves through time via emotion and memory, not math. It tells her to follow the golden thread.
Which is a complete pivot from her biology exam.
Completely. And as she reads this, her consciousness is seamlessly transported to the Midnight Café. It's warm. It's lively.
Such a shift in atmosphere from the freezing alleyway.
Oh, entirely. Mr. Kronos serves her a steaming cup of tea and a big piece of cake. And then she meets Elias.
Elias is such a crucial character.
He's this guy in his 30s, sitting there with a scribble-filled notebook. He calls himself a seeker and a timekeeper of the soul.
The clash here is brilliant. River just suffered through a rigid, fact-based exam, right?
Yeah, very rigid.
But this book and Elias, they tell her that true navigation of time cannot be taught. It must be felt.
It sets up this incredible core philosophical debate about what time actually is. Elias tells her, time isn't just ticking hands. It's rhythm, it's emotion, it's energy.
He has that incredible line.
Let me quote it directly. He says, "Have you ever noticed how time crawls when you're hurting, but vanishes when you're in love? That's not just in your head. That's time, bending to the pressure of awareness."
It's a beautiful way to phrase it.
And he shares this fragmented poetry from his notebook. He writes, "I waited 10 minutes that felt like years until your laugh broke the clock in my chest."
Which is just stunning imagery.
It is. River mentions that she's read about subjective time in psychology.
But, okay, let's unpack this for a second because I have to push back on behalf of the listener here.
Sure, go for it.
I mean, wait, a minute is a minute, right?
Objectively, yes.
Right. No matter how I feel, the clock on the wall moves at the exact same speed. My cells age at the same rate. Isn't subjective time just a trick of the brain?
You're saying it's just a cognitive glitch.
Yeah. You get distracted, you stop checking the clock so it feels like time vanished, but the reality is the stopwatch doesn't care if you're in love.
That is the exact tension the text is playing with. But Elias's philosophy asks us to question why we give the stopwatch more authority than our own perception.
That's a huge shift in perspective.
It is. What if the way you feel time is just as real as any second hand? The text is asking us to consider if perception actually is the fundamental reality.
So we aren't just passively sitting through time.
Exactly. The story elevates human consciousness. We aren't just passengers in time, we are the active architects of it.
Wow. So our awareness literally shapes the dimension of time around us.
That's what Elias is arguing. And this hits River hard. She finally asks him the ultimate question. She says, "Why can't I travel through minds anymore? Was it my fault?"
She's carrying so much guilt over this block.
She really is. But Elias explains that it's not a fault at all. It's a shift. He says that time responds to intention, emotion, and belief.
And doubt weakens that connection.
Yes. He gives her this incredibly profound piece of advice. He says, "Fear blinds the weaver. Follow them not with force, but with curiosity."
Meaning follow the threads.
Right, follow the threads of time. And when she hears this, it's like a switch flips. She wakes up back in her apartment feeling so much lighter. The dread is gone.
She goes to meet Henry. Right.
Yeah, she meets Henry at the cafeteria in the snow, and the chapter ends by saying she had found the first piece of the puzzle.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it makes total sense mechanically. The text suggests that the pressure to perform, like her biology exam, creates fear.
And fear tangles the threads.
Exactly. Fear forces your brain into a state of tunnel vision. You lose access to the expansive, creative parts of your mind.
Think about how this applies to you, listening to this right now. How often do you try to force an outcome?
Oh, all the time.
Right. You sit at your desk, aggressively trying to chase a goal or force an aha moment, and you just end up completely creatively blocked.
You're gripping the steering wheel too tight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
River's lesson from Elias is highly practical. Progress often comes from releasing that fear of failure. You have to stop forcing it and return to pure, gentle curiosity.
It's the only way to untangle the web.
So, we've covered a lot of ground today. We took this magical narrative about mind traveling in a midnight cafe and saw how beautifully it wrapped up a real psychological lesson about subjective time and letting go of fear.
It's a brilliant integration of philosophy and story.
It really is. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final lingering thought based purely on Elias's philosophy in the text.
This is the part that really messes with your head.
Oh, definitely. So if consciousness gives time its form and fear is what blinds the weaver and tangles our timeline,
Yeah.
what happens to the flow of time for someone who manages to live their life completely devoid of fear?
Oh, wow.
Do they become totally unmoored from time entirely? Or do they finally become the master clockmaker of their own reality?
That is a wild concept to think about.
It is. So the next time you catch yourself staring at a ticking clock in a boring room, I encourage you to ponder that question. Are you the passenger or the clockmaker? Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. Stay curious.